Good morning and welcome in, everyone. Before we get into this morning's update, I want to go over a quick overview of what I see, unfortunately, starting to take place here this morning. Yesterday, a big narrative was we had come up to these big resistance points. XRP had come up to that $2.29 and got rejected. And it seemed like, unfortunately, that we had to come down. It's not because I was overtly bearish. It's just because the pattern formation, it told us that we came up to those major resistance areas, and when you don't hit those and break over, and yeah, I drew out a jank little line here to show the back test where it would hit at like $2.10, which we've come down to, but that's where you need to hold it. If we don't hold that, and we can't hold the golden cross in the 4 hourly, which we're right there right now, this $2.14 is identical. It's dead on where it needs to be. If we lose that, $2.01 would be the next area, and then you could have quite the fall. Now, it wouldn't go all the way down to $1.80 or $1.50 right away. You would have this underneath support. Let's just say we fall through that 201 for, transparency purposes. So 201 fades. Oops. And then let's say we had to come down here. Well, then all of a sudden you have $1.93 underneath. So if you lose $2.01, you got $1.93. After that, then it becomes to the bottom here. Whoops. It'll become to the bottom. And right now the measurement would be, because, we can use this measurement still. It's about 16% down at max capacity, and that would bring you down to about $1.78 in real time. But with the way we broke out, if you come back down there, the fear would be, now you're not creating this inverse right shoulder. You're creating a lot of momentum to have a topping reversal. And then you could likely come through. We had escalation in war. So, that's definitely going to be something. I don't think it's on here. But we had an escalation in war. So that's going to play against risk assets. The one big thing, too, is when you see the devaluing of the dollar, this technically plays against risk assets. So you had escalations in India. There's just been a lot of stuff. Says U.S. not make a unilateral offer to China on tariffs. So the U.S. will not make a unilateral thing to China. But there's a lot of stuff going on in war talks. We'll talk about that in the live tonight. I encourage you to join around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've done a new format, and it's been absolutely spectacular. Yesterday, there was about 165 people in the live, and it was nice to see, even though we were starting to break bearish. I think in this environment, we have to be very careful because risk assets technically don't perform very well in these type of environments. Yes, we've had some pushes back up, but now we need to see if we can hold this 93,100 or if it's going to start to have a step down effect back to 87,700. Technically, this pattern is not completed yet after that breakout. We technically had topside potential of 99,631. Just like for XRP on this move back up, we had topside potential. Whoops. If I would get the right chart. We had topside potential here. First area was $2.35. Let's do it in real time. About $2.34. And then over the top, even if bearish, we could come up to $2.52 if this played out right. Obviously, a big part of this would be putting this inverse head and shoulders and playing it out. And a big step is to hold this 4-hour golden cross, which we're firmly in place right now. So after the consolidation day yesterday, it is Thursday today. We got one more trading day after today until the thinly traded weekend, where the ETF, the exchange traded funds, are offline. So this would be a good day if we're going to try to do something today into tomorrow. Last weekend, technically, you could say we had a neutral weekend on weekend 18. Some things were down, some things were slightly up, most things were even. But we had 18 really interesting weekends in a row. No parabolic pushes in the entire year over the weekend. So we'll see if this could be a momentum changer. But again, we're going into the end of the year now. We'll have the escrow dump by Ripple, which is going to be the 1 million XRP dump from Ripple for XRP. But we'll get in a slightly deeper for the next 4 or 5 minutes. I got to get my son to school at 8:20. You guys all know the routine. I got to get out of here. So let me do the intro, and we'll tie this off. Good morning. 7:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, April 24th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So if you're new, we do this morning update for 10 to 15 minutes. Today I'll be closer to 10. It's always based on time. Then I do an afternoon short, right around noon, 12:15. Sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but on the general, about 12. And then I end the day with a 1 hour live, usually around 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we tie all of this together. I talk about the news, the notes, things that, need to be discussed. So this morning, I just want everybody to pay attention to the fact of this. If we were to come down and we lose this golden cross here in the 4 hourly, if $2.14 is lost, then you have that underneath support at $1.93. We did come all the way down to $2.12. Well, I mean, your first area is right here, but the underneath support is $2.12. If you lose $2.14, that $1.93 is going to be the next big area. If that support structure is lost, then we're going to have to come back down around that $1.83 mark. But you can see we've got 201, then it opens up to 193, and then it opens up even deeper. Let's see where it's at in real time. 178. So 178 would be the bottom, assuming that we could hold this formation if we fall off. And that's a 30% drop. So you have 201 as support 1, $1.93 as support 2, and $1.78 as support 3, assuming the golden cross was lost. Because right now we're on that pivot point layer. 214 is the pivot right now, and that's the 4 hour golden cross. So if that's kept, we're very bullish. If we lose that, we're going to drop down about 13% pretty quickly. Well, maybe not 13%. Maybe it's slightly less than that, like 8%. Nah, because initially it'd be 6%, but then if you lose that, then you're talking about that almost 11%, and then it gets worse. So that's what we're watching this morning. No reason to sugarcoat it. This is what we're watching this morning. Bitcoin's down 1.17% or 1,000 points to 92,698. Trying to maintain this level. These were the 3 layers of resistance that we measured out before the breakout happened. Easily got over 87,691, used as support. Broke over 93,136 on the bottom side of it right now as resistance. But if we can get back over and use it as a layer of support, then it opens up the door to another about 6,500 point swing to the top. And the pattern potential target after that descending structure would be 99,631. So we are pushing in a fashion. We're pushing in a way where we could have some momentum, but we are definitely below that momentum spot right now. So we have to make a push. XRP market cap's down 3.6 billion or 2.83% this morning at 125.921 billion. Below that pivot layer as well. Not 129 billion. That's a huge pivot point. We have not been able to hold it yet. Every time we try, we come back below. We had a couple of different scenarios that we could play out here. We have come up to fill this up now. So we'll see if this can continue up. Or if now this is a rejection point, now we end up pushing down. It's very hard to determine right now. There is an inverse head and shoulder set up. It's just the inverse right shoulder. Needs to stay intact. Otherwise, it can invalidate the structure. So that is definitely something I'm continuing to watch. And then we'll end it here with the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Actually, we'll look at Bitcoin dominance real quick right at the end. XRP Bitcoin pairing down 1.73%. Down to the 2327 sat level. And we've had the understanding that this could be topping out. And now it could be coming down to a painful little spot here. We're on the weekly time frame. First area would have been to hold the 2424. Came down a little bit below that. So now our next area of supports are on the 1926. And then if you lose that, then you come all the way down to the sat of 724. And this is where you have that big breakdown. We had a cup fill out. Now we need to make sure that this weekly golden cross is intact. And we're fine as long as we hold that 192 stat level. And then the Bitcoin dominance is up 0.18% or 11 cents to $64.50 or 64.53. We are up to the major resistance now, and it looks like we're starting to break out. And this was a fear that it could come up to, even if it was bearish, 72%. It's in a bearish pennant. If it breaks out of that bearish pennant and pushes bullish, Bitcoin dominance goes all the way up to 96%. That would be devastating for altcoins. And seeing Bitcoin dominance rise again today in the weekly, even though the numbers are down, is not a great sign. Everything is backwards. For risk assets, everything is backwards. The environment is not necessarily conducive for risk assets. And we're in a bear market, so until we break out of said bear market, we're going to continue to have redder days than green. And every time we seem to have some kind of breakthrough, we end up having a breakdown. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I appreciate the continued support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the over 34,400 subscribers. Share this on social media. Turn that bell notification to all so that you don't miss any content. And then if you're looking to trade, make sure you download BITUNIX. They have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees in the world, especially here in the USA. No KYC or VPN worldwide. They've had XRP even in the beginning and every stage of this lawsuit since 2020 they've had. I like to use it because I can buy something and then send it to another exchange or wallet and not have to pay the fees of said exchange. And then if I need to sell something, I'll send it from crypto.com, let's just say, if they allow it. And I'll sell it on BITUNIX and then send the money back to said exchange so that I can withdraw. It's a game changer. If you appreciate my work, consider joining Tom's Army. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. Never missed a day in over 4 years, which is awesome. You can send a YouTube Super Chat, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or what really does help this program is to hit that like button, share this so that we can push the algorithm and allow YouTube to promote this content. Have a blessed day, and if you made it till the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments.